Hello, my name is Phil Vogelsang with Friends of Discovery Park. Our mission is to preserve and protect the park. You can find out more about us at www.fodp.org. This talk is the first in a series I'm putting together about some of the little-known history of Old Fort Lawton. The Army base in Magnolia has gone through some pretty amazing times. Thanks to the large number of photographs available, we have a pretty rich visual history of what Fort Lawton used to look like. Today, the topic is a little-known Nike missile command and control post that was built on top of the hill in the 1960s. It was functional for only a few brief years, but understanding it gives us insights into an important part of our nation's history, as it played out on a local level here in Discovery Park. The lands comprising Discovery Park were first assembled by Seattle in 1896, when the city's fathers were trying to persuade the federal government to establish an Army base in a remote corner of town called Magnolia. The base was opened in 1898. Here are two images from those early years. The top was taken in 1910. The bottom is from the 30s and includes the top of the hill above the parade grounds. But the history I'll be talking about today is from 1960 to 1963, when Fort Lawton played a key role in the challenging times of the Cold War. The 50s were a harrowing time. The Soviets and the U.S. were nuclear enemies. Our major threat was from Russian bombers flying over the North Pole to attack the United States. To counter this threat, we developed a very accurate and lethal surface-to-air missile called the Nike. Liquid-fueled with a top speed of 1,000 miles an hour, it could reach an altitude of 70,000 feet. These missiles were positioned all over the country, primarily for defending the large urban areas. Each local theater had a centralized command and control center. This is the Puget Sound system, arrayed around Fort Lawton and the city of Seattle. Shooting down bombers wasn't easy, and it required the most advanced electronics of the day to identify, target, and destroy incoming bombers. The Martin Company developed the Nike system, which was centered around a hardened bunker they called the Missile Master. In setting up such a missile defense for the Seattle area, the Army chose Fort Lawton, just outside downtown Seattle, at the top of the hill. This is the site plan. The Missile Master bunker in the upper right-hand corner was behind the hill on the eastern slope and was built deep into the side of the hill. At the top of the hill was the antenna farm. Here's what it looked like in 1965, with the site plan next to it for comparison. Here's a view from 1963 of the completed station. We can see the Missile Master bunker on the right, Building 653 in the center, and of course our familiar FAA tower on the left. Here's another view from the southeast. And another view from the east showing the same buildings. And an image taken at ground level. You can see why they called it the antenna farm. See the open uncovered radars? Those were called the Army FPS-6. Later I'll show you the base of one of those towers still visible today. Here's the site in 1978. You can see that the original buildings were still standing. The arrow in the bottom left points out a sidewalk that is still around today. And here's what it looked like in 1989. And finally in 2008. On the bottom left is that same sidewalk. Remember the Missile Master building? This is what it looked like in 2005. By that time it was owned by the city and was used as a storage warehouse. Thanks to the advocacy of friends, the Missile Master building and Building 653 were demolished in 2008 and the sites reforested. Here's what this area looked like in 2007, just before demolition. And what it looked like immediately after demolition in 2009. And what it looks like today. This is Building 653 in 2008, just before demolition. And what the site looks like today. Remember those uncovered radars I showed you earlier, known as the FPS-6? Here's the footing of one of them. and that Missile Master building, this pair of stairs is all that remains today of the original Missile Master bunker. So thanks for listening to this brief presentation of Old Fort Lawton. I hope it helps you understand a bit more fully the short but impactful history of the Fort Lawton Air Force Station. If you happen to have any useful knowledge of this subject or have any unique photographs of Old Fort Lawton, I'd love to hear from you. Please send me an email. Thank you.